with that, let us open it up to any questions that those of you in the working media have for us today. No, we actually have people pre-positioned in place in South Texas, and the issue in South Texas on the Texas side of the border for us is a major flood event. That's what we're most concerned about at this point in time. It appears that storm is going to go in around 200 miles south of Brownsville, so the dirty side of the storm, if you will, is going to be surging in, and I think upwards of rain events they projected of 12 inches. That can create some substantial flooding because of South Texas geography is so flat, and there are levees in that part of the state that we have some concerns about. So we actually have individuals on the ground watching those levees, particularly over the next 12 to 36 hours as the rainfall amounts increase. So the flooding is the major events that we are watching for in Texas at this particular point in time. We don't think the wind event will be one that creates havoc like we historically see with hurricanes.
Governor, they told us that this was going to be an active hurricane season. Were you still surprised that we're having one so early?
Look, we've lived through active seasons and some, like last year, we were really blessed, and the year before we got hammered. So you know, we listen to the experts, but we stay prepared. I think that's the best direction that we always give. As I said, pray for the best and prepare for the worst. I hope the experts are wrong, but particularly with the oil spill that's continuing to soil the Gulf Coast, it's of great concern. You get a storm track through that area with that oil, and how you know, it impacts the Gulf Coast on Texas side.
Do you think with the early activity, it gets the state ready and also Texans ready, sort of like this is
Right.
okay, takes it serious?
Well, it's always good to be prepared. A glancing blow, as this one may end up being, is always a good warning shot, if you will, that the next one may come up the Houston Ship Channel. You know, that's the one that scares us more than anything. It's the one that gives us the greatest concern. But we have the best emergency management team in America. Texans have seen it, Americans have seen it, the world have seen it time after time, whether it was Hurricane Rita or Ike. They have seen our ability to deal with these storms, and we learn something from everyone. We never get one perfect, but we learn from them, and we try to implement those lessons the next time an event occurs.
Just a viewer question I received. Why didn't you travel to the valley?
I very rarely go into an area prior to an event, and as a matter of fact, as long as there is an active search and rescue operation going on, I try to stay out of those areas for the obvious reasons. Those aviation assets don't need to be used toting somebody down to look around. They need to be used saving people's lives. So I think we've been pretty consistent with that through the years. So this storm is one which, again, Category 1. Of course, we saw Dolly as a Category 1 storm, stalled, came in as a Category 2, and caused substantial damage. So having the people who are the experts pre-positioned is the appropriate personnel to have in place.
How do you recommend Texans prepare themselves?
We give, matter of fact, you can go to the website, and there's some very good directions about preparing your home, preparing your kit, preparing your vehicle, knowing what your evacuation route is before you ever start out on it. All of those are online and available, but we highly recommend anybody living within 90 miles of the Gulf Coast to look at that, be thinking about it. Whether it's if you have ambulatory individuals that live in your home, if you have special needs medication, all of those type things are there on the website for people to go down, have a checklist to prepare for a disaster or an event that would cause them to have to evacuate.
I'm sorry, Governor, during a congressional hearing this morning, Congressman said that BP did not have a hurricane plan for any potential oil spill.
Yeah.
How much does that concern you? Obviously, Texas appears to have gone to war right now.
Right.
How much does that concern you? Indeed, a major petroleum company drilling offshore does not have a plan in the event of a spill in a hurricane.
Right. I think each company needs to go back and I would suggest over the last 70+ days with this event transpiring, whether it's safety issues dealing with their equipment, whether it's issues dealing with events like a hurricane, I would suspect that every company out there is going back through and double checking that they do in fact have those things done. And again, that makes sense. It makes common sense, but it also makes business sense from the standpoint of liability purposes. And one of the things that obviously I am not in favor of a across-the-board moratorium. I'm in favor of putting in place the safety issues that people know need to be in place, having the appropriate agencies giving the oversight to those companies. But the idea that we're going to shut down drilling all across the Gulf Coast because of this one event is tantamount to having an aircraft accident and shutting down all aircraft flights.
Do you think you have a responsibility to ask those oil companies on behalf of the state of Texas to develop some sort of...
Sure, those that are in Texas waters. And as a matter of fact, Jerry, you want to address how we deal with that?
Yep. Part of the oil spill division that was created in 1991, so we've been doing this for almost 2 decades, is to have these plans in place and to inspect them annually. Every barge, every transportation facility, every onloading or offloading facility of crude or petroleum products has a plan, and it's inspected by some of these gentlemen you see here in the green shirts. We have 5 locations like this on the Texas Gulf Coast. We have 56 personnel. We drill with industry, with our partners, and I want to make sure everybody recognizes the Coast Guard is a sterling partner in this effort. We have command exercises. We have practiced, audited, inspected, and we have equipment. In this barn, you'll see airboats, you'll see shallow draft vessels. We have booms stored out there. I think we still have some. We may have sent that to Louisiana. So we're ready for just what you described, and we are not just reactive, we are proactive. And the other thing we have that I'd like to point out is in Texas, there is somebody who's responsible for oil spills. And if we mess it up, then I'm the person to be held accountable. And I'm elected statewide. So we have a direct accountability and a direct chain of command, and we've been doing this for quite some time and responded to some very large spills, most recently in January in Port Neches.
Senator Patrick, I want to say thank you for joining us today as well, and all of you that have come today, thank you for being here and being with us. God bless you.